Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, but don't get upset with me. I'm not picking at you. I just want to know, and for you to think about for a second, how did you feel when you left the church last Sunday, Easter Sunday? What was going through your mind or your heart, if you will? What were you thinking about? How are you feeling? I'm going to guess, just a guess, that some of you were feeling joyful, wonderfully connected to God, to the resurrected Savior, to your family, to the church, to life itself. On the other hand, some of you came eager to get home and eat a pot roast and hunt Easter eggs with the kids and move on with life. Some of you left perhaps disappointed, disconnected, still doubtful, still skeptical, still wondering how these people can believe what they believe. Well, I have good news for all of you, and that is that Jesus' disciples that we read about in the Bible, they were quite a mixed bag as well. There were some of them who met the resurrection joyfully, some fearful, some disconnected, some doubtful. But what I find wonderfully remarkable about them is however they met the resurrection, they thought it would be worthwhile to at least give Jesus a chance, to give deeper faith a chance. One of my favorite stories is the stories of Thomas who doubted. Some people call him Doubting Thomas. Thomas doubted and said at one point, "Unless I see the holes in his hands and put my hand in his side where his side was pierced, I will not believe." And of course, Jesus eventually appears to Thomas, and Thomas comes to faith. What I also find interesting is that even in Acts chapter 1, when Jesus ascends, there are still some there. It says, there are some who doubted. So I find it interesting that even after Jesus has been with them for so long, there are still some who doubt. I think this is human nature, and I think it's okay. I don't think doubt is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a place of questioning, a place of wondering, a place of exploring the path that we may choose to go on, or the path that God has in mind for us. What I want to encourage you to do is to give deeper faith a chance. And here's how. Over the next 7 weeks at Crossroads, we're going to be engaging in a series that will lead us up to Pentecost Sunday, which is May 24th. But in the next 6 Sundays, we're going to be looking at a series of lessons called Invitations of the Savior. And these are all invitations where Jesus calls us to deeper faith. It is a faith of suffering at times, a faith of deeper commitment, a faith of courage, a faith of love without compromise, and a faith that ultimately calls Jesus' disciples to wait for him in the upper room and for him to do in them what they can't do for themselves. And sometimes that takes great patience. On the 7th Sunday, we're going to engage in an upper room experience, a concert of prayer, if you will. Our church did this last year, some of you may remember, but it's a Sunday like no other Sunday that we do here at Crossroads. We're not going to sit in rows, we're not going to sing praise songs, we're not going to listen to a sermon, but we will have anywhere from 15 to 25 prayer stations set up so that you can come and at your leisure, as God leads you, I should say, to experience those prayer stations, to spend time with God, to spend time in prayer, to spend time waiting and asking and inviting him to do what we can't do for ourselves. And we'll be engaging this as a community. I hope you'll come and join us. So maybe you celebrated Resurrection Sunday joyfully. Maybe you celebrated it with connection to God and to church and to family. Maybe you celebrated it with doubt, with skepticism. Maybe you celebrated without feeling any real connection. I just want to invite you to come. Come next Sunday and for the following 6 Sundays after that to engage with us in an upper room experience, to listen to the invitations of the Savior. Our worship times for these services will be 8 o'clock and 9:15, and I want to invite you to come. Listen to his invitations and give deeper faith a chance. Hope to see you soon.